nobody know the how many the nuclear arsenal the North Korean people have now. Yeah, totally it is blackout because they are in the cave. Yeah, the yeah. It is urgent issue, I think so. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Global about this problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, but anyway, like of course, like you mentioned in Iran. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh my God, how many bombs? All right.
Mhm.
They, like you said,
Mhm.
in North Korea,
Yeah.
they have 40 kilograms of uranium.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So imagine how many bombs,
Yeah.
they can provide
Mhm.
with these 40 kilograms. All right.
Yeah.
So
But
it's really,
the more serious problem is that there is no precise information. You know, the failure of defeating the Kim Jong-un, the third son successor. Yeah, nobody know incumbent successor of Kim Jong-un.
nobody knows.
Yeah,
All
face.
right.
Who is the actual Kim Jong-un? Total blackout situation is exactly, yeah, the situation. The North Korea, I think so.
Oh, that's right. Right. Okay, but of course,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, my student said we also have to understand North Korea. All right,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're just doing this because they are really want to, to prove their power, something like that. Like we are North Korea, we are powerful, and like you
Power.
said, we can bring
Mm-hmm.
the doomsday. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but of course, it's really hard. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But I agree with what the U.S., what Japan,
Mhm.
all right, and South Korea did. It's like
Yeah.
it's time to give sanction,
Mm-hmm.
all right, to North Korea because they don't listen. All
Mhm.
right. It's like they continue to provoke.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not only our country, not only Japan, but the entire world. All right. So in other words,
Mhm.
they are really a threat.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Actually, the Obama and the the Vice President Joe Biden said today, actually today, we don't know, nobody know the reasons why the North Korea is provocative to the rest of the world. Only God's know. Yeah, he mentioned that. Actually, do you believe the relative morality or relative moral? There is no absolute moral. It means,
Okay.
even though so far the North Korea was provocative to rest of the world, yeah, they can be changed from the transgressor to the good man. By the relative perspective view to the North Korea, probably U.S. the hostility or something hatred is reasonable, but the general eye, so-called omniscient, the God probably watches this matter fairly or without any the emotional, which are set aside from the long time. So, what I want to say is that in this global the diplomatic matter, there is a very significant or the contentious issues exchanged by global funded. Generally, this is a time to transfer the power of the nation from the Atlantic to the Far East. We don't know exactly which country will be
Alright.
possess the power by the natural transferring, But what I want to say is that if I were the U.S. citizen, actually the probably the U.S. designated country might be the authoritative or might be authenticated to possess the next power. I think so, because the U.S. had the ability to govern the whole entire planet. Only one nation has. I think so. The other nations, but very dubious, because the power is quite similar, or the balanced. So-called if some other countries want to govern the whole planet, supreme power might be necessary. Before the U.S. Governing started, there is a lot of the children like the nations, they exchange the tit for tat by the British and France, or something like that. So the Far East concept, actually, if the power was given upon the Japanese, it is very dangerous against the U.S. I think so, because generally the Japanese has a strong retaliation, the emotion. The Japanese got the 2 nuclear bomb by the U.S. nation, and furthermore, the Japanese has the continent countries such as the China and Korea and rest of the Asian countries as a very big enmity against the Japanese. So if U.S. gives the power to the Japanese, in the case, probably U.S. might be considered as much as the Japanese atrocity. Yeah. So, but if the U.S. gives power to the China, wow, it's quite significant, but also as well as dangerous to the rest of the world. It is a little bit irresponsible, because China country is similar to oligarchy system. They are not modernized, and they are not observed the transparent, the democracy, or the other, the capitalism, the truth capitalism. They are very the specific or something controlled ideology only can be exchanged. So the futuristic Korea probably is a good model to transfer the power, because the Korea is a symbolic model of a continent. So generally, the Korea has the same emotional or same legacy of Confucianism between the China and the Korea, as well as if the Korea was reunited, the Korea has a strong background from not only from the U.S. but also from the China. So naturally the two big the supreme nations can be talked by the Korean the Unified Korea. So it can be moved, and then if the Korea achieved by the so-called the melting pot. In that case, the world civilian can be stable and nourished by the two important pillars, quite a harmonious stage. Yeah. If the two main groups between U.S. and China exchange the tit for tat, it's a globally stressful, I think so. But in the Korea, it can be a melting pot. So that's why the Korea is a quite eligible power transferring places, I think so.
All right.